Imagine living in fear for decades because of a shadow. A monster moved through the shadows and stayed hidden. For years, he haunted the nights of innocent people. He was known as the East Area. Some called him the original Night Stalker. He became a ghost story told in hushed tones. The police could never find his face. They could never find his name. Until everything changed suddenly. The news broke like a lightning strike. The monster was finally caught. But the truth behind who he was is terrifying. It wasn't just some random stranger on the street. He was someone with power. He was actually a police officer in California. He worked for law enforcement for years. This gave him knowledge of how to hide. He knew how they tracked people. He knew where the cameras were located. He knew exactly how to evade a search. In fact, he was fired once before. He was caught shoplifting in the late 70s. After that, he stopped just being a thief. He turned into a hunter of people. The scale of his crimes grew larger every year. He moved from one town to the next. He left a trail of fear across several counties. Investigators struggled for decades to solve these crimes. They had leads that went nowhere. They had witnesses who were too scared to speak. Then, a breakthrough happened in the evidence. A DNA match was finally confirmed by experts. This wasn't a guess anymore. It was a 100% match. The man in the cell was the monster from the stories. He confessed to everything in custody. He admitted to being the criminal in multiple cases. He even admitted to crimes that happened much earlier. These were events that had shocked people for years. He spent decades hiding in plain sight. People lived their lives next door to him. They saw him every single day and never knew. While they slept, he was watching from the shadows. The investigation finally cracked because of sheer persistence. Law enforcement didn't give up on the cold cases. They pushed the evidence until it finally broke. When the news hit the media, it shocked everyone. People couldn't believe a man like this was still free. Then came the details about his secret life. He had lived as an ordinary neighbor for years. He had a house and a daily routine. Neighbors were shocked to learn who he really was. They said they had known him their whole life. The realization that a predator lived so close is chilling. Police raided his home and found the truth. They recovered items that had been stolen from victims. These objects had been missing for decades. Now, those items were back in the hands of justice. He was officially identified as Joseph DeAngelo. His name is now forever linked to the crimes. The press conference was tense and very emotional. Victims who had lived in fear finally heard the news. They were told that he would never hurt anyone again. The monster was no longer roaming the night. He was behind bars and facing the ultimate consequences. It took a long time to find the truth. But justice did eventually come for him. His secrets are out, and his identity is clear. He can never hide in the shadows again. The mystery that haunted an entire region is over. One of the most famous cases in history is closed. It serves as a reminder to never stop looking. Even the darkest secrets eventually come to light. The shadow has been caught and named forever. Everyone involved can finally breathe a sigh of relief. He spent his life hunting others in the dark. Now, he spends his time behind bars for eternity. This case will be studied by detectives for years. It shows how much dedication can change everything. Small pieces of evidence eventually built a mountain. That mountain finally crushed him once and for all. The mystery is solved, but the shock remains. People still talk about how he stayed hidden so long. They wonder how he was able to get away with it. Now we know he used his knowledge of the law to hide. He relied on his position to stay one step ahead. But the truth is a thing that cannot be buried. It eventually crawls out and finds its way into the light. The name Joseph DeAngelo is now synonymous with the crimes. The media coverage was massive and filled with shock. Neighbors couldn't believe the man they knew was a monster. He had played a role in a perfect disguise. He acted like a normal guy in a normal town. Yet, beneath that mask, he was something else entirely. The investigation reopened old wounds and gave them closure. Victims finally saw justice being served in the courts. They received confirmation that their ordeal was finished. He is no longer a ghost, he is just a man in a cell. His life of crime ended the moment the DNA matched. It is a victory for the detectives who never gave up. It is a moment of peace for those who suffered. The case is officially closed by the authorities today. He will never walk among us again. The mystery has been solved, but the horror remains. People are still shocked that he was even caught at all. They wonder how it took so many years to happen. But every second of those years is now behind them. The monster is gone and the truth is out. It's one of the most intense cases in history. Now, his story will be told as a warning. A reminder that no matter how deep you hide, justice finds you. The hunt is over, but the story lives on forever. He was a hunter who became the hunted in the end. His name is now known by every person who ever feared him. The mystery of the East Area is finally solved. It took years of work, but they got it done. He is in custody and will never be free again. He had his moment in the sun while hiding behind a badge. Now, he only sees the walls of a cell. The community can finally move forward with peace. His secrets are exposed to everyone who knows his name. They see him for what he truly was. A man who lived a lie for so many years. A man whose shadow and face were finally revealed. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place today. The truth is out, and it is haunting to think about. How did he hide for so long in plain sight? He used his position as a shield until he couldn't. Then, the evidence finally caught up with him. His DNA spoke louder than any excuse he could make. The case is closed, and he is going away forever. It took a long time to catch him, but they did it. Now the truth is etched in history books for everyone to see. He was caught, and his name is finally on the record. What do you think about how long he stayed hidden? Was it just luck that he got caught eventually? How would you feel living next to someone like this?